What's up, guys? Frugal VC got quite a bit of Algorand news for you today. We are talking about Ledger and how Algorand will be affected, or maybe not. We're talking about Opal. Looks like they're going to be leaving Algorand, or are they? But we're going to dive into that news. Get some good news about TravelX, which is cool. Always good to see that. A little news item. And causing a little stir is the Void network. Yep, there's an article talking about how they're a fork of Algorand, and the fork kind of stuck a fork in some people's craw. They're not too happy about the description there. We will dive into that news today. Before we do that, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like and subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. Now, as I always say, you don't have to smash it. You can just press it gently. It works just fine that way too. And subscribe to the channel so you can see all our Algorand and other crypto experiments. We try things out and let you know how it goes, good, bad, and ugly. Nothing frustrated me more as a crypto user myself than going to a video, having it make this thing sound like it was the best thing in the world, and then I try it out and it's not even close to what they said, and there's all these things they didn't tell you about. So that's what we bring here for you today. And not to drag things on too long, but we are brought to you by Non-Fungible Domains. We are very happy for their sponsorship, and they if you want that .algo address after your instead of having those big long letters and numbers, Non-Fungible Domains is the place to do it. You can get yours for a one-time fee. Just check it out in the description below. And we are brought to you by Fractal Monsters, a play-to-earn game on the Algorand blockchain. It's a lot of fun. It's like basically a cross between Tamagotchi and Pokemon, with a little bit of Smash Brothers mixed in there. So that's a lot of fun. You can play it for free, or you can get a critter if you want to earn. And check that out in the description below, along with Non-Fungible Domains and a lot of other deals on stuff that we recommend in crypto. But enough about that. Let's get into the show. So the first thing I want to talk about is VoidNet. Now, the Void network, it's basically what they did is they took the open source code from Algorand and just made a whole new chain out of it. And, well, Blockworks made a story about this, and it kind of set some people off. So let's take a look at the story here. By the way, good to have you all guys all back here, because I was ill later last week, and we had to postpone the show with John Woods. That is now, it was scheduled for Friday for this week. Now that has moved back to Thursday of this week. Same time, 10 a.m. CST, which is like 11 a.m. Eastern, and I think it's pretty early. It's like 8 a.m. on the West Coast, but that is still coming. Anyway, news: Algorand has a friendly fork in Void network. We're going to look at the reactions in a minute, but let's just read through this really quick here. Algorand fork Void tries a blockchain reboot. Veteran members of the Algorand proof-of-stake blockchain ecosystem have banded together to launch a new iteration of the open source code called Void, currently in testnet. Now, I think a lot of you know. I think I told you guys a lot about this, that I tried doing a node both in Void and with Algorand. It didn't work in either of them, I'm afraid. It was the OST one-click node, which is a cool concept. I mean, it was very, very easy to start up and stuff. It just never synced. No matter which one I did it in, it just like synced forever. So I tried it a number of different times. So I would have liked to have done both. But anyway, leading the new project is Chris Sweener, a co-founder of both Reach, a blockchain development platform, and the Algorand decentralized exchange HumbleSwap. We used HumbleSwap in our DeFi experiment for a little while, but once the GoBTC pools were gone, there wasn't really anything that I was comfortable being in. All the coins were like really low level, haven't heard of them type stuff, and nothing that I looked interesting to me. Work on Void began in 2022 with the premise that the blockchain should better align incentives with its community of developers and users, motivated by Sweener's frustration with the perceived shortcomings within the crypto industry. So I looked around and I was frustrated that I saw that. I looked around and I was so frustrated that I saw venture capitalists and the early builders owned over 90% of all tokens, and the people that are actually still there during the bear market really didn't own the chain, but they're still pouring their heart into it, Sweener told Blockworks. Void is only forking the Algorand code, not the chain state. So unlike a failed proof of work fork for Ethereum, for instance, Void will have its own crypto token, but with no connection of ownership of Algo. Yeah, so it's a totally different thing, and they make it clear it's basically just, in fact, they explain what kind of it is. Yeah, well, they do explain that it is just a copy of the code. It's not like a fork where it's changing the blockchain itself. It's like just a brand new chain. And so, but this is where people are getting a little bit irritated, and I think it's mostly due to the headline. So Yeah, let's look at some of the reaction here and see what's going on. You're gonna see some familiar faces here. Yeah, Ric Flair, of course, he's a friendly fork. What the F? Algorand was never forked. MFers copy and pasted business model would be better term to use. So he's not a fan of it. This person says the real story is Chris Sweeney became frustrated when he lost funding for projects that failed to deliver. So then he comes up with the brilliant idea of copying Algorand code base to try to raise some more funding, copying the EVM copy and paste model. I guess. Where's the fund? Where's he getting? Is he getting funding though? I don't know. And I would say Humblefy delivered. I mean, I didn't love everything about it, and I think they were saying they were the fastest DEX, and I don't think that was true. But it functioned, it worked, and you could still use it. I assume it's still available now. I haven't tried it in a while. Yeah, Recoup was going to be talking about it. And Stacy Warden, Algorand CFO, or CEO, excuse me, says LOL. And then Fred Estante had this kind of funny meme. The guy's carrying this stuff, and he's like, oh, put it in the wheelbarrow. And then he takes that, and then he carries it that way. That is pretty funny. Some people are just saying, I don't know how I feel about this. Copy pasta does not equal fork. Yeah, Yomo, who makes the Bork NFT, says, yeah, for those just reading the headlines, stop, read the darned article. Boys, only forking the Algorand code, not the chain state. So unlike failed, yeah, we read that already. Right, so it is what it is. People are a little mad about it, and that's fine, I guess. People have asked me to do more content on Voy, and I don't know that there's a lot to do it on. I would have talked about it more if the node had worked for me, because I was going to do a video on how to do a node. But if I can't get it to work for myself, then there's probably a lot of you out there that won't be able to get it to work either. So that's the whole reason that we try things out on this channel, because I don't want to just like tell you about stuff and be like, yeah, it probably works. You know, I want to be able to tell you, yeah, it absolutely works, or it didn't work for me. And so that's what happened on the node. I kind of talked about it in one of my videos, but it didn't get like its own video because of that. Well, so one of the pieces of news that fortunately doesn't look like it's going to impact Algorand too much is the Ledger exploit. Yet there was a hack of Ledger through some of these dApps that are not Algorand related but EVM related. Let's first just look at the news, and then we'll look at how it affects Algorand. So yeah, what we know about this is from CoinDesk. What we know about the massive Ledger attack. Multiple Ethereum-based applications, including Zapper, SushiSwap, Phantom, Balancer, and Revoke.cash, were compromised early Thursday due to a Ledger security breach. Yeah, that's a little disturbing. And I will say, I think I used Balancer really, really early on in the channel when I was less Algorand focused, because I was just trying all kinds of stuff and I wanted to see how it did. And Balancer, it was like you couldn't do anything because it cost so much in ETH. Plus the whole Coinbase wallet thing, don't even get me started on that. I like Coinbase on the platform, but I don't like how it works. Anyway, Ledger, the Paris-based crypto hardware wallet manufacturer, said it has fixed the malicious code as of, well, that day. That was like 4 days ago. And the company also warned users to clear sign transactions, a way to ensure that you are interacting directly with the company's website and software. So that's what happened. We don't have to go into the full details. But one of the nice things is that it doesn't appear to be affecting Algorand users. And so let's take a look at this. Sounds like it's EVM specifically. Many ETH transactions require blind signing, so you can't see what the transaction is on the ledger at all. So they could change the transaction and you wouldn't know it. You always see everything for Algorand transactions unless you bypass each time with shortcut mode. Use Wallet at least currently has no direct Ledger support anyway, so there's no issue there. Para and DFly shouldn't use it either. And that is posted from Michael Jordan. Always good to see Michael Jordan in my tweets. So yeah, it's mostly EVM specifically, not AVM, which is good to see. As Mars says, we are just built differently. The future is safer. Glad to hear that. You know, I was going to go on a rant about Ledger because it kind of irritated me during the My Algo hacks when all the Ledger people were like, oh, it's just their own dumb fault. They didn't get a Ledger. Well, as you can see, these things can happen even on Ledger. So I think we just have to be more security minded and maybe not point fingers when hacks happen. We should point fingers at the hackers because they're the ones who are actually doing it. Anyway, moving on. So I saw an announcement by Opel and I was a little confused. It kind of looked like Opel was leaving Algorand. Now we've had some Opel issues in the past. They went after Sewell, who's a friend of the channel, because he questioned why they weren't hitting their timeline. and the Opel founder got pretty mad about it, which really soured me on the project. So I haven't bought any. I think I owned a little bit of Opel for a while, but I've never really bought any of their MFTs, and I don't know if they're still are they getting royalties now finally? It took a while, but let's look at this news because it looks like they're jumping chains. I'll go back to my post. Let's just go to their post. So they posted this on the 14th. Like I said, I was sick late last week, so I was sort of paying attention, but I thought for some reason I thought they were adding a chain, and I might be. After reading this, I thought I might be mistaken. It says, "Hello, Arbitrum. We're thrilled to announce that Opulous 2.0 will launch on Arbitrum. Exciting new step will enable us to connect with the most exciting network, providing Opulous with optimal infrastructure, access to a DeFi native community, ready to participate in our new Opulous finance products. Opulous has achieved so much since its inception, raising close to $1 million in MFT sales from thousands of users across our current network." That's right. They raised... Keep in mind that number. They raised almost $1 million in MFT sales from users in the Algorand community. They can't even say Algorand in the post. Like, I don't know, man. Apparently, it's new cutting-edge DeFi solution backed by fastest growing real-world asset music. So why Arbitrum? We're gonna go real quickly. Liquidity, community. God, I think that's a real dig, man. I think that's a dig. Team, they really like the Arbitrum team. Developing on Solidity has markedly accelerated our process compared to our previous blockchain. Hey, it's Algorand. You can just say Algorand. The quicker we build, the more products we can bring to the market. I'm surprised, actually. A lot of people told me it was easier to develop on Algorand than like Solidity, and especially once it becomes Python, it should be much easier. So I don't know. Scalability and growth. And I don't have anything against Arbitrum. I don't know enough about it, to be honest, but I'm just looking through to see if there's anything. Apparently Arbitrum has been the most requested chain by our community. So they're going to introduce Opulous, unveil the roadmap, announce the official launch date of Opulous Finance V1 for January. They'll debut on the mainnet. So the way they said previous blockchain, I'm pretty sure that they're done with Algorand. So I mean, they made $1 million, or well, in revenue, not necessarily profits, but they took $1 million. I'm pretty sure they got money from the foundation. I'd have to go back and dig through that report, but they've happily took advantage of the Algorand community, and now they're like jumping ship. I think that's kind of crappy. I gotta admit. I think it's now apparently you'll be able to bridge. We'll get to that in a second, but I could see, you know, I don't have a problem when some of these projects go multi-chain. Like, that makes sense. It just makes good business sense. But you know, to leave like that, I think the problem is, like, Algorand users, we don't put up with a lot of nonsense. We're usually people who we expect you to do what you say you're going to do and deliver. We don't have a lot of room for not delivering, so, and especially nonsense. Like, you don't go after, like, he really went after Seawill, and I didn't think that was right, so I thought that was pretty unprofessional. So maybe it's okay. Well, let's see what people had to say, because I put this out there. I said, so maybe it was because I was ill, I missed the discussion, but is this in addition, or are they flat out leaving Algorand? Because it kind of looks like the latter. Let's see. So Ice Age Trail said bye-bye to Algorand. Funny use of a little pun there. Bye-bye, right, instead of bye-bye. Lee has had a chip on his shoulder as long as I can remember. Who cares? All he does is talk beep and take money for worthless MFTs. It got a couple likes there. Diggs said, I'm glad I sold my Opulous. Then enjoyed the trash train that upon announcing they would switch decided to crash almost poetically. Hopefully it didn't take too long to fix the error. What's he talking about? Well, here it is. Arbitrum hit by partial outage due to traffic surge. Layer 2 blockchain stopped working as intended Friday morning. That's hilarious. Yeah, go leave the chain that has never been down to, one that just went down right after your announcement. How nice. Arbitrum sequencer stalled during a significant surge in network traffic, according to posts across the network social media on Friday. We are working to resolve as quickly as possible and will provide a post-mortem as soon as possible. Ready post on Arbitrum's status webpage. Sequencers have been likened to an air traffic control for deciding which transactions land first on the layer 2 networks like Arbitrum. They're an essential link between L2 and the base chain Ethereum. They're also a single point of failure. Yep, good job. Good work, Opulous. Backstabbers, MHM. I'm glad I never purchased anything from them. I didn't either. Well, they sold out really fast, to be fair. Let's see. More so leaving, though it appears you can hold Opulous on Algorand for now. At least seems bitter toward Algorand. Started with Foundation. Pretty sure they're leaving. Best part. The app crashing the other day. Yeah, same thing. And Lee's response was something about problems of actually having customers or some garbage like that. You know, again, they did make $1 million, according to him. They took in $1 million in MFT sales, mostly before the functionality was live. And that's what it is. Oh, in case you're wondering, Opulous announces key investment from Algorand Foundation. This was 2022 in August. How much did they get? Like how much? How much did you get? Existing Opulous investors and partners include Ditto Music, Jump Trading, Applied Blockchain, and Circle, with previous investments from Borderless Capital, R3, Yobi Capital, and Spartan. So plenty of investment. They don't actually say how much they got, which would be nice. That's just a foundation. Like I was hoping I had a link to if anywhere else says. So this was 2 years ago. They allegedly closed a $6.5 million funding round, but it doesn't say anything about how much they got. So basically they sold a bunch of stuff to Algorand users. They got a bunch of money from the foundation, and apparently that's not good enough, and now they're going to Arbitrum. So that's fine. It is what it is. I feel bad for people, you know, and apparently it sounded like they'll still live, your MFTs will live on the blockchain, so it's not like they go away entirely, but the new ones are going to be minted all in Arbitrum, so if you want to keep up with the project, you got to go to Arbitrum and enjoy that downtime. Yeah, like I said, I don't know anything about Arbitrum, so I'm being a little snarky just for the fun of it, but I don't really know if they're, you know, I really don't know much about it other than it's another layer 2. Some more positive news now. I've talked about TravelXon here, and I really like what they're doing. Their partnership with Flybondi, where they're minting airline tickets as NFTs and providing a marketplace so you can resell them if you don't need them. And that happens sometimes, you know, you're going to travel somewhere and something comes up and you can't go. Well, it's nice to be able to resell your ticket. Well, turns out, looks like they're planning something here. Interesting, this is from Kyle Leese. He says, interesting TravelX activity on chain in the last day. Primary operational funding account 3x the amount of Algo they have on hand. This account funds the operational needs of adding assets. Means they might be planning something, huh? New application is created and does 24,000 transactions in the last 24 hours. That seems good too. Are we getting a new airline on Algorand for Christmas? Well, I don't know, but I like to see those numbers. I like to see the increase, and sounds like something good is being cooked up by TravelX. But that's been one of the great things on Algorand, and I just love these real world, you know, actual use cases versus coin speculation and price goes up. I get a lot of the price goes up people in my comments, and they can't understand that I'm concerned about more than just price goes up. I mean, I can buy coins just to hold them and sell them as essentially a digital beanie baby, but I like that. I like blockchains like Hedera or Algorand. They're actually solving real world problems and doing something in the world, not just making a coin for speculation. So anyway, that's it for this week. Happy to see the price kind of go back up. As you can see behind me, I first tried to record this video and screwed it up. It was at 18.5 and now it's up to 19.5. So nice to see it popping back up, which I kind of said earlier that it would. The audio's gone, so you know, I don't expect you to believe me there. But yeah, I figured that was probably what was going to happen, that we're just setting up for another run up, and we'll probably go up a little higher. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you guys are being safe out there, and mind your stuff, you know, keep safe out there. As always, I'm Frugal BC, and I will see you in the future.